Hare Krishna. I welcome all of you to this Gurudev ki Madhur Smritya, and we'll start this program with Jai Dhwani. Jai Shri Guru Gaurang Gandharvika Jidhari Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ji ki Jai, Shri Radha Raman Ji ki Jai, Nitya Leela Pravishtom Vishnu Padashto Tasa Srimad Bhakti Vedant Shri Narayan Goswami Maharaj ki Jai, Nitya Leela Pravishtom Vishnu Padashto Tasa Srimad Bhakti Vedant Shri Vaman Goswami Maharaj ki Jai, Nitya Leela Pravishtom Vishnu Padashto Tasa Srimad Bhakti Vedant Shri Trivikram Goswami Maharaj ki Jai, Nitya Leela Pravishtom Vishnu Padashto Tasa Srimad Bhakti Vedant Shri Swamiji Maharaj ki Jai, Nitya Leela Pravishtom Vishnu Padashto Tasa Srimad Bhakti Pragyan Shri Keshav Goswami Maharaj ki Jai, Nitya Leela Pravishtom Vishnu Padashto Tasa Srimad Bhakti Siddhant Shri Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki Jai, रूपानुगुरु वर्ग की जय, वृंदावन नवदीप धाम की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, गौर भक्त वृंद की जय, हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय, गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि. Today we are very fortunate to have among us Savitri Didi from Holland, and also we have Tungvidya Didi in Vrindavan, and Prabhuji is also present there. So we have three Vaishnavas today, bonus. So it's really nice. So we'll start with a kirtan first, and then I will give a short introduction for Savitri Didi, and then she will speak. And in between, if Prabhuji and Tungvi Didi also wants to say something, they are most welcome to do that. Okay, you can start the kirtan.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Jai Jai Shri Guru Maharaj ki Jai.
एक अनाउंसमेंट कर देता हूँ प्रभु जी, जो हमारे हिंदी भाषी श्रोतागण हैं उनके लिए ये हमने लिंक शेयर किया हुआ है यहाँ पे, इसके ऊपर जाके वो हिंदी में इसका ट्रांसलेशन सुन सकते हैं. ये मैंने यहाँ पे दे दिया है और व्हाट्सएप पे मैं ग्रुप में डाल देता हूँ. ठीक है प्रभु जी. आप शुरू कर सकते हैं प्रभु जी.
गुरुदेव बड़ो कृपा करी गौरवनो माथे তুমি দিয়াছ স্থান গুরুদেব বড় কৃপা করি গৌরবনো তুমি দিয়াছ স্থান আগাদিলা মোরে এই ব্রজে বসি হরি নাম করো গান বড় কৃপা করি গৌরবনো মাঝে রুদ্রমে দিয়াছ স্থান কিন্তু কবে জগতায় পিবে এ দাসের দয়া করি কিন্তু কবে জগতায় পিবে আমার চিত স্থির হবে সকল সহিব চিত স্থির হবে একান্তে ভজিব হরি একান্তে ভজিব হরি গুরুদেব বড় কৃপা করি গৌরবনো মাঝে রুদ্রমে দিয়াছ স্থান বড় কৃপা করি শৈশবে যৌবনে জড় সুখ সঙ্গে অভ্যাস হইল মন্দ শৈশবে
জড় সুখ সঙ্গে
আমার নিজ কর্ম দোষে এ দেহ হইল নিজ কর্ম দোষে ভজনের প্রতিবন্ধ গুরুদেব বড় কৃপা করি গৌরব নমাতে রুদ্রমে দিয়াছ স্থান গুরুদেব বড় কৃপা করি আর বার্ধক্যে এখন পঞ্চরগে হাত কেমনে ভজিব বল বার্ধক্যে এখন পঞ্চরগে হাত কেমনে ভজিব কাদিয়া কাদিয়া তোমার চরণে কাদিয়া তোমার চরণে করিয়াছি সুবি ভাল করিয়াছি সুবি গুরুদেব বড় কৃপা করি গৌরব নমাতে রুদ্রমে দিয়াছ স্থান গুরুদেব বড় কৃপা করি গৌরব রুদ্রমে দিয়াছ স্থান আজ্ঞা দিলাম রে এই ব্রজে বসি হরি নাম কর গান আজ্ঞা দিলাম রে এই ব্রজে বসি হরি নাম কর গান গুরুদেব বড় কৃপা করি গৌরব নমাতে রুদ্রমে দিয়াছ স্থান গুরুদেব বড় কৃপা করি গৌরব রুদ্রমে দিয়াছ স্থান गुरुदेव की
जय गुरुदेव महाराज की जय बहुत सुंदर very nice kirtan Prabhuji, very heart touching about Gurudev. And now we have today with us Srimati Savitri Didi from Holland, very senior devotee, and whenever you go to Vrindavan you will always find her in the temple. It's never that I've never find, she's always there. So she met Gurudev in 1996. That was the first trip Gurudev made to the Western land, and his first stopover was in Holland, where she met Gurudev. And she did not waste any time. Immediately she took initiation from him at the same time, 1996. And then she got Gurudev gave him seva for translating his books in Dutch language, which she is still doing. And then she traveled with Gurudev's entourage from 2000 to 2006 all over the world. And then Maharajji ordered her to stay in Vrindavan. And since then she's been staying in the holy dham of Vrindavan and doing her bhajan very vigorously. And she's a very, very, I would say, pure Vaishnav, what I can see. I met her recently in Navdeep Dham also, where with great difficulty, I asked her to say something on this program. So she finally agreed. So today we are going to hear from her. We don't know anything about before coming to Gurudev, whether she was in ISKCON or not. So today we'll hear from her how she got introduced to bhajan, bhakti and bhakti line. And after she met Gurudev, how was her experience, what she learned, how did Gurudev guided her, and what are her sweet pastimes with Gurudev. Did he ever chastise her, or he was always sweet to her? Whatever been her experiences and realizations with Gurudev, we will want to hear from her today. And in between, if Prabhuji and Tungvidya Didi also wants to say something, you're most welcome. If you are reminded of something, you can speak also. Thank you, Didi. Dandavat Pranam. You can start now. You can use the mic if you want.
You can hear me like this or not?
I can hear you, but that one is much better.
Okay. We will put the mic. In this one. Yeah. Is it better now?
Yeah, it's better. Keep it as close to possible. Yeah, it's good.
Like this?
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. Say something.
Because now I cannot hear you, but I can see you. Can I say? If you can raise your hands, if it's okay. Okay.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, okay. Dhyana Timiranda Shagina, Dhyana Sanatya, Jaksudumilitanya Sasnashi, Guruve Namaha, Vanjaka Patokastatika, Sudulevacha, Titanam Pavane, Namaha. First of all, I offer my obeisances to my Gurudev, Nichalira Pavishnu Vishnupada, Stotra Shishima Bhakvanta Narayan Krishna Maharaj. In the same way, I offer my obeisances to my Siksha Gurus, Nichalira Pavishnu Vishnupada, Stotra Shishima Bhakvanta Ram Krishna. Nichalira Vishnu Vishnupada, Stotra Shishima Bhakvanta Trigan Goswami Maharaj. Nichalira Vishnu Vishnupada, Stotra Shishima Bhakvanta Swami Goswami Maharaj. I offer my obeisances to all Vaishnavas and Vaishnavas wherever present. So,
Didi, why don't you come in the center?
I was thinking,
Very well.
yes.
Yeah. Move in the center. Yes, yes.
Okay.
Little more, little more.
Or
I wil je in het
Perfect.
midden hebben.
this is better. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. this is really
Yeah,
funny.
we can see you. Now we can see you.
Okay. So probably you were asking me when I came into Krishna consciousness, how I came and if I came to the ISKCON. But when I was until 1987, I was just leading my karmi life. You know, although I was raised as a kind of like in families, I was also raised like this with devatas. My father was always doing Surya Puja. My grandmother was a Devi worshipper. My elder sister was also a Devi worshipper. You know, so like this, it was a little bit mixed in my family, and I was a Krishna worshipper. So when I was doing like karmic things like going to aerobics and all these things. So I met one lady there at the Arabic house, how you say it. And she introduced me, she told me she knew somebody which was doing therapy in an alternative base. So not the regular, but alternative. So I was attracted. I said, oh, give me the number of this lady. So then at that time, 1 week later or something, she gave me that number and I called. And that lady was Premalata Devidasi. And she had connection with the Prabhupada disciple, which is called Haisra Prabhu. So in this way, I came into contact with devotees. So it took me, she invited me for prasad and she was helping me balancing my life. So after 3 years, then finally I came like regular to the programs in her house in Amsterdam. So Haisra Prabhu and she, because Haisra was a Prabhupada disciple and he was also a translator. So I read the Bhagavad Gita, which he translated in Dutch. And he taught me many, many things. In fact, everything in devotional service, like how to behave, how to be proper vegetarian, how to do ekadasi, how to sing, how to play karatal, all these things. Yes. So, and how to serve, because that was most important, how to serve the Lord. Because in their house, they had also Gornitai deities, and they had also like Radha Govindaji. And later on, I found it very interesting because their Radha Govindaji, deities, they were both white, which is very extremely rare, because normally they will be whether golden or they will be the black and white. Yeah, but they were both white. And I never questioned it. I never thought, oh, why is Krishna white or whatever. But later on, with Gurudev, of course, and we understood the tattva behind this, the deities. So this was really like extremely. It was surprising, because when I stayed with them, and then in '96, so it was from 1987. 3 years later, a regular, and then after that, in '96, then they said, okay. Maybe 1 year before, they said there is some guru coming from the ISKCON. It was Lokanath Maharaj, came to Holland. He says, I want to show you this side also of the ISKCON, because in fact, I was naturally not interested so much, because I liked it in the place where I was. So if you are happy in the place where you are, where you're doing your sadhana, then you will not go here and there. But she said you have to see the ISKCON because it's important. So we went to that place where he gave Harikatha, and I could not understand so much of it. But anyway, later on, it didn't touch my heart. But later on, she showed me also the ISKCON temple in Amsterdam. There's one ISKCON temple in Amsterdam. At that time, I liked it, the deities, and it was really a sweet mood. And I bought also my japa mala. I said, oh, I want to do japa. So at that time, then she says, here is Tulsi, there are Tulsi malas. So I chose one Tulsi mala. So when Gurudev came in '96, at that time, in my initiation, then Gurudev chanted on these bead decks, which I have now, which I have chosen from the ISKCON. So there was some ISKCON connection, like with Prabhupada and with Gurudev together. And so this is what I like very much. It was so funny when Gurudev initiated me, because at that time, when he was like giving everybody, like maybe 4 or 5 people already, like the name and so on. So he was like taking one new bead bag, because they were in a basket. There were new bead bags, and they were the ones who people already gave. I was thinking, oh, maybe Gurudev will give me a new one, because maybe that mine is not so good. But then it was my turn to get the kantimala, because Gurudev put the kantimala himself around my neck, and that was beautiful. And then he took the bead bag. He says, "Oh, I will give that to you later." Just when I wanted to put my hand out, to take the bead bag from his hand, he says, "No, later." And then you know how Gurudev is. Sometimes very, very powerful. And he put it like this next to him. He just like this, very powerful. And I said, "Okay, let's wait." And then a few minutes he was talking, and then a few minutes later he took my bag, chanted on it all these things, and then gave it to me. So it was really wonderful. It was a very nice experience. Yeah. At that time when Gurudev was there, was for me, and I think for many devotees, it was such a powerful, blissful time. It was like when Gurudev came, bliss personified came, and we were all swept in this mood. Although we didn't know Gurudev, it was the like, we didn't know Gurudev, we hardly knew the devotees from outside, from England, America, or whatever. I didn't even know Kunda Vidya, I didn't know Vrinda, I didn't know Gopinath, I didn't know Brajana. So for me, it was completely new. But the connection was there from Highest Prabhu, because Highest Prabhu was a Prabhupada devotee, and they had connection with ISKCON. So for that reason, but somehow it felt natural. It felt very, very natural. When Gurudev gave in Amsterdam, he gave class when he came in one school building. So when he came, he had his hand around.
Mayavadi school.
Eh?
Mayavadi.
It was a Mayavadi school. It's funny. So he came in with his hand on the shoulder of, at that time, Navin Krishna, Madhav Maharaj. And then there was such a heavy kirtan going on, and Gurudev was standing on the stage, and he was racing like this. And it was such power, and everybody was dancing and shouting. I think chase all the Mayavad. I was not used to such a heavy kirtan. Yeah. I was thinking, wow, what is this? I didn't know what was happening. And I thought, wow, and the Gurudev was spreading his hand and his shawl was like this.
Yeah.
So it was beautiful, huh?
The head of that school, I remember, he was very impressed with Srila Gurudev. Afterwards, he told him.
Yeah. Oh, so that was yeah. So that was Tungavidya. So it was very successful because after that I told Linda, where is Gurudev going now? Yeah? Where is he going? Because I want to see where he is and where he goes. Then at that time, she gave me the address. It was, I think, in Bovenleeuwen. It was immediately in Bovenleeuwen. That is far away from me because I stayed at that time in Rotterdam. But anyway, I had a car, so I just drove there. I don't know. Don't ask me at that time what happened because it was like, I don't know. I had my work and probably I took days off or something. But this part I cannot remember. I only remember that where Gurudev was, I was there. Yeah. So and later on when Gurudev was in the house of Damodar Prabhu in The Hague, at that time, also I was there. And Gurudev was so sweet because he slept in a room which was behind the kitchen. And then he would come to the kitchen and then there was a living room and opposite the living room is the bathroom. Because the accommodation was like this at that time. So we were sitting in the living room, a few of us, and then Gurudev would come in his gamcha and walk in the living room and looking like this and say something. So it was really far out. It was the mood was quite in a mood of loving friendship. Like there was no space between us, no Aishwarya. Yeah, it was really, really sweet. Because when we were sitting, if we were sitting with Gurudev, then we were sitting like Tungavidya and I sitting very close by. We were sitting like that close with Gurudev. So there was absolutely not something like an Aishwarya mood or whatever. I think when I came to India in '97 for the Kartik Parikram, at that time I saw that Aishwarya mood was more there. In India, Gurudev had put some more rules and regulations for the Indians than he did for the Westerners. So I saw their behavior was a little bit more different than we, because that's why, I think that is also one of the reasons that when the Westerners came to India, when they were jumping on top of him practically, in the enthusiasm, it's because Gurudev like reciprocated in this way with us. So this is the thing. So in this way, I grew in this movement, yeah. Because before that, before in my karmic time, I never heard of Mahaprabhu. It was only we were doing holy and some special Diwali and all these things we were celebrating in our house, but it was not like in connection with Mahaprabhu. Yeah. So this is what my background is, and I was thinking today what to speak. Then because everybody someone speaking about their relationship, what they have done, and how Guru related to them, and their experiences. But I thought I want to make Gurudev also happy, and how to make Gurudev happy if I speak about Param Gurudev and his Gurudev. So I thought, let me do that, because this is also an angle which is very important. In fact, it is the most important angle is Gurudev's heart, Param Gurudev. So, I also was something amazing, because when Gurudev took birth in 1921, until we went to Holland, it was like 75 years of difference. 75. If you calculate, 1921, 96, 75 years. And I was thinking, this is amazing, because also in that time, 75 years and then 40 years only traveling around the world. So this is so amazing, because it is I understood immediately from this that it is extremely, extremely difficult to meet a Sadguru, to meet such a great soul, and not only ordinary soul, but one specific in the mood of Radharani. that he wants to give is Raganuga Bhakti. That is like you put a little a pin in the desert, go and find it. Yes. So it is. I was thinking, wow, we are so fortunate to have met. In fact, that he has come into our life, not that we have met, but he has come into our life. Yes. So this is quite amazing. So and not only that, but his teaching. Okay. Yes. Okay. You cannot hear. Something was the connection maybe. You hear now? Huh? Okay. So I can give, for instance, two extremely rarities. First of all, to meet such a guru. Then on top of it, if you meet a guru, to connect with him. I had two elder sisters. Both of them are introduced to my Gurudev. The eldest was a Devi worshipper, and she was attached to Durga Devi. So at that time, when I introduced her to Gurudev in a Hindu temple, because I invited her there, because that is the environment where she felt like at ease in a Hindu temple. So when she came, then Gurudev was finished his class, and Gurudev was walking on the aisle to go away. And I stood up and said, Gurudev, this is my elder sister. Then Gurudev said, oh, he said, he looked at her and she started crying like anything. And then Gurudev said, I will show you what love is. This is what Gurudev said. And their meeting was finished. There was no further meeting. They never met again. But still, till the day of now, she remembers him. She knows who he is. Somehow the impact was there. But she had not enough discipline to join with Gurudev. So this is rare. Then I had another sister, and she, when I introduced her to Gurudev, she picked it up somehow. Yes, so, but it took her a while. So it was already 2005 when Gurudev was in Kagdijn in Holland. At that time, I said, you have to take initiation now from him because it is important. So she went there and she took initiation from Gurudev. But later on, she said to me, she said, Didi, I didn't even want initiation. I didn't feel my heart was there. You know, it was completely strange for me. She was saying like this. Then I understood that word of Raghunath. Then Raghunath Swami was saying, Vairagi Bhakti Rasam Padmata Apayan Manu Unibus and Ipamburia Paradutu Buddhist and Temple Mashayami by force. You don't want. But Sadhu is so compassionate by force. They give you this bhakti and laced with renunciation because it helped her so much. Because in the later life, when Guru left, then she started going to the ISKCON and she felt very happy with that. And so she stayed in that connection. So this is like two examples how extremely rare it is to meet a Sadguru, to be connected with him. They're extremely rare. So now, also, let me see. This is the part of my sis. It is like, this is also a nice thing. See, the Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, when Gurudev said, I will show you what love is, at that time I was thinking, oh, when? You know, because she's not coming to you. I could stand that time, it was timeless. Bhakti is timeless. At any time, Gurudev can be in your heart. And anytime you can be born, and Gurudev will be there. And these things I understood later, because also, see the Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, he said something very nicely about John Anderson. At that time, the English were ruling in Britain here, in India. So he was the government of Bengal. And what did our Jagat Gurudev said, because he invited him to come, and he ordered this chicken from a special shop and all these things just to please him, to make him happy. But for them, it is nothing, because at that time, Sri Jagaduta Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Prabhupada said, I waited millions and millions of births just to liberate this soul from the material world. So in time, we are thinking in time of 50 years, 70 years, 100, or maybe I will die soon, like this. But they are thinking in a complete different way. Their words, their deeds, their thinking is completely transcendental. Nothing to do with this material world. For that reason also, it is very difficult to understand the Mahabharata, because sometimes the action can be some different from the expectations which we have. And because we are full of expectations. If I see somebody that, oh, maybe he will do that, or maybe he will do that, we're expecting it. So we are pre-thinking something negative or whatever. It is an automatic thing, which is some star from millions and millions of lives, yeah, roaming around in the material world. So, but this for Sadhguru is not applicable. This is completely, they are completely beautiful, completely pure. What I liked also when Gurudev came to Holland first time, he didn't started the body or whatever, nothing like that. He started immediately with Ramananda Samvat and Jagannath and all these things. And I found that his Sanskrit, the slokas were so beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. And I was thinking also from how did you learn so much, because I couldn't understand. At later time, when I read his independent book, I read his autobiography, Gurudev, what Gurudev gave, which is on the internet. And he was born in a village which is full of Brahmanas and completely learned. So automatically, without going to school, it was natural for them to learn Sanskrit and also to speak it. Because Gurudev, when he was like in the 9th class, he said, at that time, he also won one Sanskrit debate. And this is amazing, so young, and winning a Sanskrit debate. That is amazing. Also, his Gurudev said his Kula Guru, his house guru, was such a brilliant and beautiful person. That Vaishnava made such a deep samskar in Gurudev's heart. Because Gurudev said also, he was so well versed in all the Shastras, Srimad Bhagavatam and all. And when he was speaking Srimad Bhagavatam, it was so sweet, so sweet. And so Gurudev, he had an impact in Gurudev's heart, because he also gave Gurudev and Gurudev to birth the name Sriman Narayan. He was the one who gave that. So it is, Gurudev, so young and doing, and already on that level, so brilliant. So yes, one thing also, when Gurudev was doing this debate in Sanskrit, he won one book, and it was the life history and precepts of Nimbarka Acharya. So from that, he understood that was he learned from that book. He said he liked it so much. He learned how all Shaktis, all potencies of Krishna are manifested in full in Harinam. So he got more attached to Harinam also. So I don't know, because at some Gurudev said previously he was only chanting Harinam, Harinam, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. That. And I think at a later stage he started to chant the full mantra, especially when the Kirtan party came in his village. So also when Gurudev, he had this book of Nimbarka Acharya, but also Gurudev said that he loved history very much. So in one of the books he found like a little description of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his teachings. Mahaprabhu gave, there was like a little, it was like a little, not so much written, but about how Mahaprabhu was relishing all these moods, especially the separation mood. And Gurudev said the waving hairs, curly hair, it was very attractive to him also. So that was very sweet. So that was Gurudev's first contact, seemingly, with Mahaprabhu or with the four Vaishnava Acharyas. So We jumped home. He was married at 16, and his wife came later when he was 21. He left very quickly because when in I think in 1945, at that time the Kirtan party came in the place where he was working. That the place where he was working was Ganj. It was somewhere in Bihar, in some district, and it is in the Dumka district. Yes. So Gurudev was their policeman, and his boss, superintendent, he was fond of Vaishnava. So the Kirtan party came to his house, and in this way Gurudev was introduced to the people from the Devananda Gaudiya Math. Srikam Maharaj, Narottam Das, Brahmachari, they were all there. So, but Gurudev was really very much attracted to this, very much. So I think it was not long after that Gurudev just he quitted his job and went to the Devananda Gaudiya Math. I will not discuss how he came there and how Vamana Goswami has, found him, because he didn't say to anybody that he was coming. And Param Gurudev understood, where he was. Such a great soul also. So, so when he was there, he was introduced to all the devotees, like Narahari Das Seva Vigraha. He was in charge of the temple there in the Devananda Gaudiya Math. So under his care, he was we got a sleeping place and all these things. And Srikam Maharaj was also there, of course. So the Gurudev said that nobody had to tell him anything about service. He immediately, when they came there, he didn't ask for whatever, but he started grooming the temple, cleaning things, all for him, it was no problem at all. It was like a natural tendency in his heart, in Gurudev's heart. So he did all these things in the Devananda Gaudiya Math. At one time, I want to tell you that Gurudev said there was a fight. The local farmers were coming there to do their subsidies, and they were Narottam Das Brahmachari was there and Narahari Das, because they were doing the shopping. And then one farmer became so overheated and hit Narottam Brahmachari on his head, started bleeding. And Gurudev was looking for up. And when he saw that, he ran downstairs with speed, took a bamboo stick and beat that farmer completely. The bamboo stick even broke. Can you imagine a bamboo stick that breaks? That is impossible, practically impossible. But it happened. Gurudev said about this, there was a Russian devotee, and Gurudev said this Russian devotee says, I don't know why my heart is like this. When I see anybody in danger, I immediately go and adjust the situation. So this is what Gurudev said. So he saw that the one who taught him, in fact, into this line of Krishna consciousness was in danger. And he went down super fast to adjust the situation. He says, I don't know, this is my nature. I don't know why, he said. Gurudev said this thing. So this is really, really so heart-touching and beautiful. So anyway, the whole thing was solved by Narahari Seva Vigraha, because he was such a gentle person, and very sweet, a great devotee, and very much loved in the Devananda Gaudiya Math, also by Gurudev. So when in 1945, there was in his job still in Kartik, Param Gurudev brought his disciples to Kasi to do Kartik Parikram there. So after that, they went back. I don't know where it was, in the Devananda Gaudiya Math, I think, in the Devananda Gaudiya Math. And not so long after that, Gurudev had come in December. So in that year, 1945, yeah, Gurudev came to the Devananda Gaudiya Math in December. At that time, Param Gurudev was went for preaching also. When he went for preaching, at that time, the preaching was in the area of Medinipur, Kalyanapur, like this. in Kalyan, there were brahmacharis like Sajan Sevaka, means the Vaman Goswami Maharaj, and also Ananga Mohan. So this Ananga Mohan became sick in Kalyanpur. I think we all know this story that he was sick. But what was interesting about this, when you read this story in the life history of Param Gurudev, what Gurudev said, it is like it happened in 1 month or something. He became sick, and then Param Gurudev brought him immediately to Kolkata to have some treatment, homeopathic treatment. It didn't work out, so they went to Singapore and to have some fresh air. And it didn't work out. And at the end, they went to Madras, and in Madras, in that sanatorium there, Tambaran sanatorium, he left, saying, Radha Krishna is calling me. It looks like it is a small time span, but it is not like this, because his illness became prevalent, I think so, like in 1945, 46, and he left his body in 1950. So it was approximately like 4 years with which Param Gurudev and the Vaishnavas were going here and there to help him so much. He was so much loved, this brahmachari. So it is like, and Gurudev also, then when they were going to some places, Gurudev also went there. And at last, Param Gurudev said, in Madras, you should stay with Gunatit brahmachari, and they helped. When he left his body, Gurudev said something amazing, which was, this is a point which I like very much. Because Gurudev said, he said, like Ajamil, he chanted only Namabhas by calling his son Narayan, and he got Vaikuntha Vans. The Gurudev said, but what to speak of a Ekantika, a Guru Nishta devotee? How wonderful! What will be his destination? For sure, his destination will be Golokavitam, Gurudev said. Because why? There are a few points. First of all, he was Ekantika Bhakta. So he was one-pointed to Aparam Gurudev. Then his chanting was completely pure. Yeah? He didn't make any offenses or whatever. So this was a second point of what was important. Then the third point, which Gurudev mentioned, which was very beautiful, was and suddenly he said, although these points were present in this brahmachari, Gurudev said, like, although sadhana bhakti can bring you to a certain stage of bhakti, it doesn't give you the qualification to go to Goloka Vrindavan. The qualification of going to Vrindavan comes from Sadguru, from the mercy of Sadguru, and nothing else. Yeah. And this is, so we have to try to please Sadguru and Vaishnava, because this is most important. If you cannot have that, then I think you have a problem in progressing in Krishna consciousness life. So this was a beautiful, that's why I was reading this story and I was thinking, this is so beautiful, a beautiful teaching. So, yes, his supreme faith. Oh yes, one thing else, his chanting had to be with, if you want to go with to Goloka Vrindavan, also your chanting has to be with Sambandha Gyan, with relationship. So the relationship with your Gurudev will give you a relationship to the Guru Parampara and to Mahaprabhu, Radha Krishna, like this, and all their leelas. So you have to meditate also on these leelas, if possible.
Rebol Didi,
Can you hear?
can I speak? Can you remove it for a while? I want to talk to you. Can you hear
Can you
me?
hear now again?
Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Yeah, I said what it's better if you speak something about your personal interaction with Gurudev, which is because these stories what you're saying are in the books already. But if you can tell us something which happened with you, how he gave you the service of translating books, can you talk something about that? And what all books you translated? And yeah, your personal interaction with him will be better, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how did I get the book service?
Yeah.
Many years ago, when see how it began. Gurudev came to a house. I was connected to Harish Prabhu, as I said before. He he was translating books. He already did it in the ISKCON where he was one time mat commander. Yeah, so he was a writer, he was a poet and all. And he was translating all these books of Prabhupada also. So he started also to translate some of the books of Gurudev, like Mana Shiksha, Shisasakam, like this. But at one point, when we were having every Thursday, we had Sangha. So at one Thursday, we went there and we had a very nice kirtan, harikatha, and prasad. But we went home, there was nothing wrong with him. So at that time, the next day, I got a phone call that he was like admitted in the hospital. He got a brain stroke. So he was, when he was admitted there, at that time, the doctor said that they cannot do anything for him because it was like a terminal thing. So he was already like, he had that attack, he was unconscious, and he became, it was in a terminal stage. So although he could speak and all these things, still, you know, it is especially for his wife also, was a very difficult time because it took 3 months. And his wife said, I don't want to put you in a home where they're going to serve you because you are a devotee. And devotees, they don't have a specific home for devotees in Holland. So she decided to bring him home again. And she did a lot of service to him. And also other people helped. I helped also sometimes when it was possible. And he was really like funny, you know, because at one point he says, "Oh, you want to do Vipalamba Seva, you know, intimate service?" Like this, he was saying. It was really, he was like having this humor. He was not afraid of the death. And at this last moment, we all knew. And his wife was sitting there, and we were all gathered also. And he said, "Radhe, Radhe," and he left. So that was Hariswapumu. You know, it was really kind of amazing. His leaving was really brilliant.
I remember Srila Gurudev in Perth. He wanted usually he didn't walk in the evening, just in the morning. But that day, he wanted to walk outside, and he looked at the stars, and he said, "Brajanath, immediately call Hayashwar Prabhu and tell him to leave his body." And then Brajanath Prabhu, the constellation is very auspicious. And then when Brajanath Prabhu called, he had left already. So also to say that for everyone, he will be there for all his disciples. And it was very beautiful, no, happening.
So after that, we wrote to Gurudev what to do because he was Hariswar Prabhu was the main person in Amsterdam, and he was most senior in the Dutch Sangha. So what to do? Then at that time, Gurudev, out of the blue, I didn't have any expectation. I didn't say anything to me. He said, "Oh, you should translate the books and you should translate the lectures." And I was pretty much in shock because I had never done it and I had never asked Gurudev for this seva either. Then, so I was thinking, what will happen? And I thought, oh, you know, so okay. I thought I have to, you know, like fulfill Gurudev's wish. So I took one book out of just like this at random from my book shelf, and it was The Essence of All Advice. So I started translating that. And it took a little bit of time because at that time I was working. And then I had my Gauni time, and then I had to do service. So before I was finished, it was already like maybe over 8 in the nighttime. And then I was sitting down for a couple of hours to translate. So at the end, I finished it, the translation. And then one time in Kartik, I came to Gurudev, and I know it was like in Dupsanat and Gaudiya Mat. And I sat in front of him, and I didn't think anything of the manuscript, nothing. And I said to Gurudev, I said, "Gurudev, I finished translating The Essence of All Advice." And Gurudev looked at me, and he said, "Do it again."
Oh, why?
I was thinking, what? You know, it was so amazing. Do it again. So I went back after the Kartik Polikdam and all these things. Then I went back home and I said, okay. So I put my computer on and I looked at the translation and I looked at the book and I compared. And I made so many mistakes, so
Oh.
many mistakes. And not only that, but some parts I had not even translated. I had
Wow.
skipped some parts. So it was, I don't know how it was. And Gurudev made me see, you know, how bad it was.
How
It
did you
was
know
really
Dutch
bad.
language?
Sorry?
How did you figure out Dutch language that how did you figure out that things were not correct? Do it again, he said. Remember?
Yeah.
It was amazing.
It was like, yeah, that was really amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, what to do? So after that, I translated it again. And when I translated it to Gurudev, and I said, okay, Gurudev, I translated it again. Then Gurudev said, now it's okay. Yeah. So that was the first book which we printed out, and some devotees helped, and it is still in my bookshelf. I don't know if they have, because I sent all the books which I translate, I sent to the Dutch devotees. They can do whatever they like with it, whether they correct it or whatever. It doesn't matter really for me. What really matters for me is that I'm fulfilling Gurudev's wish. And Gurudev says translate, so I have to translate. So in this way, I started my book translations in between. So, and also about when you speak about books, at one time I felt like I wanted to do something in English. So I asked Gurudev, I said, can I do like, what is it, Krishna Lila for children? Because I was thinking for children, there's nothing from Gurudev's side. From the ISKCON side, there are many, many, but from Gurudev's side, nothing. But later on, when I was opening the Srimad Bhagavatam and I was thinking, let's see what to do, at that time, I didn't feel any inspiration in my heart. Nothing was coming. So then I took Chaitanya Charitamrita and Chaitanya Bhagavat. And suddenly, like an inspiration came, and I start compiling. I put together in simple language, just for children, for 8 years old, 9 years old. I put together Chaitanya Charitamrita and Chaitanya Bhagavat together with all the stories. And that came out. You can remember, maybe, I'm not sure, because it's like a book like this. It's called Chaitanya Lila for children. So when I went to Gurudev and I showed him, at first, when I first started it, I started to do the story of Viraj, that gopi who was playing with Krishna in a kunj in Vrindavan, and then when Radharani came, then she changed into a river. I started first with that one because that is Bhaktivinoda Thakur's version also. But then Gurudev said, no, I don't want you to do that. I want you to start with Chaitanya Charitamrita and Chaitanya Bhagavat. So I changed that and I started with Mahaprabhu's birth, like that, and how he appeared. So in this way, Gurudev was correcting, and Gurudev was really, really happy with this book. Later on, I asked him to do. It was in Gurudev's last stage to do a booklet about Rupa and Sanatana Goswami and their teachings. But when it was published, at that time Gurudev was not on this planet anymore. Yeah. So, but that was also, yeah, I felt sorry in my heart that Gurudev could not see it, but that was also like a very nice book. For me, it is, I think Gurudev knows my brain somehow, because when I'm busy with this kind of books, then it is more relishable, it is relishable for me. Yeah. So this is one point. And how do you want to hear something special, more special about? Yeah, I traveled a lot with Gurudev. And one interesting point is when we were in Badger, at that time, there was some channel. I was doing the dishes. I washed the dishes in Gurudev's there, where they were cooking in Gurudev's house. I also did the pot sevas of the big kitchen in the night time or whatever. But
I had also that nice seva to do the dishwashing in Gurudev's house. So at one point, Gurudev's Charanamrit was there, because when he comes, they bathe his feet and all these things. And I saw some flies roaming around in the Charanamrit, and one was already dead, and the other was trying to get out. And I was looking at the situation. You can hear now?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I was looking at the situation, and I was thinking, this is a fly. His body, he cannot do anything with his body. It's like a miserable fly body. I was thinking like this. And that, let him die in the Charanamrit. And just at that time, two Didis came. And they said, both of them said to me, why didn't you save that fly? You know, he's moving around in this Charanamrit. I said, well, he's lucky. It is Gurudev's Charanamrit. So what is the problem? If he dies, he gets a human body, maybe, you know, that is more better than this ugly body with where he goes in stool. So there was some, they didn't agree with my point. So in the evening time, Gurudev was used to sitting on the launch in the grass. And when he was sitting there, at that time, one of the ladies says, and Gurudev, Savitri didn't save that fly in the Charanamrit. We had to do it. And what do you think about that situation? Then I was thinking, Gurudev will chastise me severely for not saving this jiva, you know. Then Gurudev said, it is a matter of thinking. It is a matter how you think. He didn't take sides like, oh, you did bad or you did good or whatever, nothing at all, but it's the way of thinking. I was thinking I will save that soul if he drowns in the Charanamrit, that is good. Because how fortunate we are, we as humans, we are when we get the Charanamrit. We are always fighting for the Charanamrit of such a Sadguru. And this fly came, I cannot say by chance, because nothing is moving without Krishna in that Charanamrit. Yes, and I was there. In my mind was that conception, and in other people's minds was a different conception. So this was really, really interesting. Also, when we were in Belgium, maybe another time or whatever, at that time, Gurudev gave initiations. He gave over a lot of initiations. So at that time, there was also a boy, and after initiation, you're doing Bhiksha for your Gurudev. So, but somehow he could not get it together to do the Bhiksha or whatever. And maybe he asked a few gentlemen, you know, male devotees, but they didn't want to give. So in the evening time when Gurudev was sitting there, then everybody was giving their money, which they collected from others, to Gurudev. And when his turn was there, then he lowered his head like this and he says, Gurudev, I could not collect anything. The male devotees didn't want to give me anything. Then Gurudev said, you did wrong. You should not go to the male devotees. You should go to the female devotees. They will give. Then at that time, it was like a wonder. Everybody got out of the money out of the wallet and start pouring it on that boy. So the boy was just grabbing all this money here and there, and he could give this to Gurudev. So this is such a wonderful thing, you know. It is like Gurudev is arranging everything for us, also the Bhiksha money. Yeah. So in the travels, it was not so easy. Like maybe people were thinking, oh, it is wonderful. Which is, there's two aspects in like traveling with Gurudev. The one aspect is like you're completely blissful because you're always with Gurudev. No, yeah, always, but most of the time with Gurudev, and it is such a perfect, experience. And it is for your spiritual growth. It is very wonderful. You feel that impact really. So that was okay. But on the other hand, there was always so much anxiety, about where to stay, how to get the money together to stay here and there, because you don't want to put the pressure on the folks and the program, how to go to the program and all these things. I remember one day in one time in Brazil, I just told it recently, I was stuck. Gurudev's program was finished in Sao Paulo and we had to go to the airport, and I had arranged a taxi and somebody else jumped in it. and went away with my taxi. Could not get anything done. So here I was standing with somebody in Brazil, in the middle of Sao Paulo, and then luckily there was some devotee who came with a big bus. He had rented it or something, and some other devotees from Brazil. They came from another part of Brazil. So at that time, that we asked that devotee. First, he had refused to bring us to the airport, but somehow Gurudev changed his heart, really. And then he says, "Okay, we'll bring you to the airport." So he brought us to the airport, and when we entered the airport, just there Gurudev was sitting, as if he was waiting for us to come. Yeah, and we could check in, no problem at all. Yeah, it was, and every time, and also the check-ins when you check in the airport, and all these things were quite a hassle, because you have to sometimes you have to bring Vrinda was asking subjis, Indian subjis, then how to bring it to the how you say it, douane? Yeah, for Gurudev. Yes, we are bringing subjects for Gurudev, and how to bring it to the airport, to cross the border. So sometimes it was like a quite exciting life, I must say. Yeah. One time when we were in Houston, at that time, Gurudev was giving in a Hanuman Mandir. It was in a Hanuman Mandir in Houston in the beginning, when there was no temple at all. We were staying in Didi's house, Gurudev also. So at that time, we had to drive to that temple. Somehow she had made very nice arrangements for us. Didi is very sweet devotee. She really did a lot for Gurudev, and not only for Gurudev, but also for the devotees. Really, yeah. Really, all glories to her. And then but the funny part was, one time I was going, and then we were meeting Gurudev when Gurudev was going to sit on the asana. And Gurudev said to me, "What are you doing here?" And I thought, what I'm doing here? And I was completely like, by his words, I was bluffed, I couldn't say anything anymore. My throat was choked, and I think about, and I said nothing. I just walked with him together, and he sat on the ass, and he didn't say anything anymore. But later on, I was thinking, yes, what I'm doing here, you have to make a concept in your mind, what do you want from the whole situation? It's not only you're staring at Gurudev, you have to get his teachings and all these things. And you have to be ready for that. Your heart should be open for that. I think that Gurudev made me make sure that it was open at that time, because I was so much worried at that time. What are you doing? I think, maybe Gurudev will send me away, So I was like quite worried. And also when we were staying in Vinodini's house, sometimes there was Father's Day there. So we would completely decorate Gurudev's house and the room. And it was such a beautiful, all the devotees would come, and I made cake and all these things for Gurudev. I remember Gurudev, Tunga said, no, it was Vrinda said, Gurudev is not taking with butter or something. So I made one cake with olive oil. I didn't like it a bit, because I'm used to work with ghee and all these things. So one I had made with ghee, and I forgot the sugar in it. Still, it looked very beautiful. And it was spongy, because the devotees there, it was maybe in 2000, they didn't know how to make cakes or this and that. They were all buying from outside, which is full of eggs and all these things. So devotees from there didn't eat these things, and they didn't buy it also from outside. So in this, I made the cake, and then Gurudev, I made the one with the oil, with the olive oil, and Gurudev just put the knife inside the cake. And it was so funny, because he was like, not normally you do straight, and then another part, and then another part. No, Gurudev zigzag to the whole cake. I tell you, I was thinking, wow, that was really, really funny. It was quite amazing. So these things, yeah, these are wonderful experiences when we were traveling with Gurudev. Yeah, it is with Gurudev. I came to so many places that was quite remarkable. In America, we went to so many places. In Holland, in Europe, became suddenly, instead of so big and far away, suddenly so close. Because Gurudev was going to France, to Germany. I remember when the first time when Gurudev was this is funny. When Gurudev went the first time to Italy, I had hired a bus and took devotees with me to Italy. So when we arrived there, Gurudev was at the house of Krishna Priya and Purushottam Prabhu. So Gurudev had a small, cute room. So at that time, I was a little bit like young and a little bit more naughty. So I had put some confetti and pranami in an envelope. So I thought if Gurudev opens that envelope, all this confetti will come out. You know, it will spread around because it's like colorful paper. But what happened at that time when I gave Gurudev this envelope, then I said to Gurudev, and you should, Gurudev put it next to him. And I said, no, Gurudev, you should open it now, you know, because I wanted to see how all this confetti would spread around, you know, complete fly around the whole room. It's also on Gurudev. And then I thought, and Gurudev said, no, I'm not going to open it now. And I said, no, you have to. I said, no. And then he did like this, you know, with his hand. He put this envelope and he tucked it under his legs and he didn't open it at all. And I thought, okay, there goes my fun, you know. Yeah. So, but later on, we were sitting in the living room there. The madam asking, and who gave that? So, the confetti was still in the envelope, but the money was gone. I said, I did it. So I didn't have that fun. You know, it was really like really funny. In Italy, it was very, very beautiful programs. Some new people came. Also in, I think it was in Brazil. In Brazil, it was quite amazing also, because Gurudev, he likes us to have proper dressing, proper conduct, and all these things. I remember in my beginning, I had long hair, and then I put only a little bit knot hair, and then I let my hair loose like this. And one other lady also, because she was from the West, she was from Canada. So by chance, I don't know if it's by chance, but we went inside Gurudev's room to bring our pranams. So she was in front of me, did her pranam to Gurudev, and I was behind her. And then Gurudev was looking at her hair, which was also loose like mine. So, but Gurudev said to her, he says, you look like a dog with all this loose hair. I thought, oh my God. I thought, okay, my hair is also loose. Then I remembered that story. You know, when Gurudev was telling, I think you remember also that new bride is coming into the house and she's doing household chore, but she's doing it the wrong way. And because Gurudev didn't want to hurt, the mother-in-law didn't want to hurt her feelings, she was chastising her daughter so severely for something she didn't do. Yeah. So I think Gurudev, by chastising this lady, and indirectly told me also, you have to tie up your hair, you know. So as of that time, I was tying up my hair, because otherwise I would never. Also very short. Gurudev would say where was it, in Moscow? I told that last time also. Gurudev said I never wore a shawl, never. Also in Holland, I was not used to it because it's not like the Western culture. It's Indian culture, but not West. So Gurudev told me, "Oh, you will look so much more beautiful if you wear a shawl." Yeah. So anyway, as of that time, I started working, wearing this shawl. You know, I had to completely what I saw in my relationship with Gurudev. The Gurudev appreciated when you were looking like an Indian, when you try to adopt that Vedic culture. Gurudev didn't like it if people were adopting that Western culture. He was always saying this Western wind is blowing here also, and he was very unfortunate about this. Yeah. So you want to say something?
Yeah. Something very funny Gurudev told me once. I was wearing how you call that? This dress? No, dress and salwar kameez. So I bought fancy stuff always. And then one time Gurudev told me, you look like Trivedi Shastri. So that was indirectly also a hint. So after that, I only wore saris.
That's so funny. I myself, I'm not so fancy in sari, so I always wear salwar because I cannot sit like Indians, like properly in a lotus sit. You know, it is always I'm not used to it. Just my feet was always hurting me and all this. And at one point, I saw my sari was open here and closed there, so it was like a total mess. You know, and oh gosh, that was nothing. So then I decided, well, anyway, it looks like a pant, which I'm used to, and only with a long blouse. So I made here in India, I let all these salwars kameez made, and in this way I was adjusting to the program of Gurudev, because yeah, you want to make Gurudev happy, you know. You don't want him to look, because at one point I came from, I think it was in 1998. I had to adjust with my holiday days. At that time I was working. So you have an amount of holidays, and I just figured out that I fly, and then just I will make it for the first day of Kartik. So I did that. And indeed, but when I came, then I heard Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol and Rup Sanatan. Then, because at that time there was a 5-day program in Mathura, but I could not make that. In the first, in 97, I did, but in that year not. So I heard Gaura Premanande, Trikar Maharaj, Gurudev were all sitting on the stage. And I was thinking, oh wow, I just made it, but I never made it for the Harikatha, you know. So, but Champakala, I felt sorry, Maha, because I really wanted to hear Gurudev, because his Harikatha was really in the West, completely fabulous. It was so heart catching, and Gurudev was always like, you know, when he was wanted to stop, then we wanted him to go further in speaking, you know. But it was really amazing how sweet. So at that time, I had just wear my kami clothes, not change, because everybody was running out to go to the parikram. And when they were running out, then Champakarata from, I think from America, yes, she said to me, oh, Didi, because she had a room in Rupsanat, and she says, put your suitcase quickly there in my room and we go. So I just dropped my suitcase in her room, and then after that, I did my parikram. But at one certain point, I was thinking also, oh, I can do with pant and blouse, I can always do, you know, my my parikram. Then, I don't know, Gurudev picked up my thoughts, you know, because at that time he looked at me like that, you know, like, oh, you think you can do that? I don't like that. You know, he was really putting a face like this, like, I don't want you to have this kind of clothes. Yeah. So as of that time, I also wore, like, always, I made sure that I had always the proper clothes with me. Yeah, but it was at that time when I was in the beginning, I didn't wear a sari or whatever. So it was a little bit quite uncomfortable for me. But you adjust. It is a question of adjustment. I think Gurudev also does not want his devotees, you know, to wear Western clothes and all these things, because it is kind of doesn't make you a devotee, because already the look, if you're looking at the devotee, then the pleasure comes of looking at the dhoti and what, and the sari or whatever. Then you feel more like you're in Vedic culture in India. Yeah? But if nowadays when you look around, it is then you see some people are wearing these saris and all these things, but also other people are wearing like leggings and all these things. And it is not giving a feeling like you are in Vrindavan or you are in India. You know, it's like Gurudev said that the Indian culture is flying away, and yeah, the Western wind is coming here. This is what Gurudev was saying. Yeah. Let me see. How much time I still have? Oh?
You have time. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Now I can. How much
Yeah,
time
you have
still?
you can speak more 15, 20 or half an hour if you want. And we can also hear something about Gopinath Prabhu if Didi wants to say something.
Gopinath Prabhu, about Gopinath Prabhu?
Yeah, because Didi can say so if she wants.
Yes, I think
because he's not with us now, so we have not heard from him. And I'm sure he's done a lot of seva, and if she wants to say, she can say. Otherwise, you can continue for you have time if you want to speak.
I think she doesn't want to speak so much about Gopinath Prabhu.
Okay, it's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
Gopinath Prabhu was a really wonderful devotee. I knew him because the house where we were in Holland, and, he came one time. I never had met him. I didn't know who he was, but he had connection with Vaishnava Prabhu because of his connection with Prabhupada. And he was only in end in his life I saw, and he was telling me also in his last stages when he was here in Vrindavan, in the hospice.
Hospice, yeah.
Yes, he was lying there, and his only intention was only to do service to Gurudev. Yeah, but for that reason also he built this building, Gopinath Bhavan. Yeah, because he wanted Gurudev to stay there, and also not with Gurudev alone, but also the devotees. I think always when there is something big going on or whatever, there are always some misconceptions, but we have to look through these things and see really, and we really have to see like the devotees' effort to help Gurudev. Gurudev also every time said this thing to me also, it is not about how many or how fancy or whatever, but it is the way how you want to please Gurudev. It should be from the heart. Yeah. And I saw this with Gopinath Prabhu. He had only that intention to please Gurudev. And how he maneuvered, how he did, where seva is done, also where working is done, some mistakes are done. We are all humans. And that is not a specific point of to make a fuss about. What we have to do is only see, how somebody is doing the service to Sri Guru Parapadma, and how Gurudev is appreciating it. I remember one story when at one point I had to bring some envelopes with letters ladies and gents gave to me from Holland to Gurudev. So I was already thinking I want to do service for Gurudev, what kind of service. And I had read, in this Manashiksha that begging, Manashiksha Raghunath Das Goswami was begging for a little, even the slightest of seva. And I was thinking about this slope. Even if I can get the slightest of seva, I will be very happy. When I gave Gurudev this envelope, at that time, it was really like I was thinking about this slope. I don't know how or what, but at that time, Gurudev returned one envelope to me, and he says, "Open it." And then I opened that envelope, and this was my little seva for him. Yeah. So this is how Gurudev is picking things up. Yeah. So wonderful. And sometimes he doesn't like things. For instance, like one time he just came and I thought I couldn't get flowers here and there, so I just picked a few bougainville flowers, the pink ones, and then I gave it to Gurudev, and Gurudev looked at it, throw it away like this. We should not be upset in the dealings of Sadhguru. And everything is good for our relationship to him. And this is most important. We should not be disturbed of anything good or bad or whatever. Really not. Yeah. But we should really, Gurudev said always, we should respect devotees. And because they are connected with Gurudev. And if you are connected with Gurudev, you're connected to the whole Guru Parampara and to Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu had special intentions with us as jivas, which are put together now. And we know each other. So Mahaprabhu has special intentions. That's why Gurudev came into our life, to bring us together. And we can see, doing this, and he's doing that, or whatever, but it is not the way. We should try, to be like Gurudev always says, we should be one family. What does he really mean with one family? It means one thought. One family means one thought. How to please Gurudev and how to please Krishna. This is family. This is oneness. In Goloka Vrindavan, there's only one thought, really only one thought, and that one thought is how to please Krishna. And Krishna likes variety. So here also in this material world, we are full of variety because we are different people. And I have different moods. So these moods, Gurudev is accepting because he can put that. That's why into the lotus feet in the hands of Radharani and Krishna, because Gurudev said, you are like flowers,
I will make you very nice and very good smelling. You are very fragrant. And then I'll put you at the lotus feet of Radha Krishna. Yeah, so Gurudev is determined to make us what a constitutional position is. Gurudev said, if you meet a guru, like who's doing Raganuga Bhakti, who is like speaking about the manjaris, how the mood is, how the seva is. If such a person is coming into your life, it means that you must have connection there also in similar way. Yeah. So you will be a manjari. So for that reason also, Gurudev is like, pressuring and pushing is only for us, because this is a constitutional position and nothing else. Yeah? And we don't have any dealings with this or that. In the other lives we worked on already, maybe the Ramanuja Sampradaya, maybe in another Sampradaya, whatever. But really Gurudev is unique in this situation. What I saw in him also in Gurudev, in my experience in traveling with him, he never moved from his points. He wanted to give a certain thing, and that is what he wanted, that he will give. He will also help individuals. When people were coming with so many problems and this and that, and even it was 10 times the same problem from 10 people, then Gurudev were always like really not at all moved by this. He would pacify these people and he was like, giving them all attention so that the anxiety would go out of their life so that they can come in the proper mood of Krishna consciousness. I saw when I was in America, there was one lady and some kind of confusion was there in her marriage and whatever. So she was completely in anxiety and she had so many children. So at one person point, we were in some house and we just had a program and she was sitting there and suddenly she stood up and started shouting so much to Gurudev and she started throwing with things. And Gurudev was really like completely still, no movement. And he accepted that mood of that lady. And I was looking, what is she doing? She's throwing things, and she's shouting to my Gurudev. I don't like these things. I was thinking like this, But at later point, I was thinking, yeah, but she was in so much anxiety. And Gurudev anyway helped her to come out of this situation. Because Gurudev came to help us to come towards Manjari Bhav, Radharani, to do service there. This is a constitutional position, at least of most of us. And otherwise, of the others who are not, they will adjust also. And so we have to, I see we should not criticize because Gurudev doesn't like that at all. But we should try to respect each other for whatever capacity we have. We should not be envious of each other because everybody has his specialty and his loving devotion towards Gurudev. For instance, somebody would give like a beautiful lily to Gurudev, in America or whatever, and Gurudev loved it so much. It is not like Gurudev doesn't like that little flower you gave, but he shows so much happiness in getting that lily from some girl. So he was extremely happy, and the devotee who gave it to him was also extremely happy. And in this way, when you are happy, there is a force coming into you, and the force is to do service. And there you go. Because when you have that, when Gurudev is giving you that force to do the service, at that time, that mood of relationship will come into your heart with Gurudev. I saw it many, many times because Gurudev was always happy. Because one time I think it was in Holland, in a big program, and I had to cook, but they asked me to cook in Ekadasi day. So, and I thought first, because I was not used to cook for so many 300-400 people. I don't know how much they were, So I had asked only a few people to help me with the kitchen, and it was Ekadasi, so they had done the potato and all these things and cut it. So I thought, okay, I don't need you anymore. So I sent them away as I'm going to listen to class or whatever. But at that time, I forgot, oh no, this has to be done, that has to be done, and such has to be done. And I had hardly any people helping me, So I was like struggling to make these Goranga potatoes and whatever, you know, before the class stopped, because I know everybody will run to the kitchen and in the hall to take prasad, but really Gurudev was really appreciative about this. And there's also like another point, because when I was in Holland also we had to do shopping, and I did it with Bhakta Swarup. And he had this big car, and we were going to a place where they buy a wholesale store. But we didn't check so much because for us also everything was new. So when we bought a lot of potatoes, and then we came there, we saw the potatoes were green. So green potatoes nobody likes, because they say it's kind of poisonous or whatever. But anyway, we couldn't do anything, so everybody had to peel the potatoes. And then one lady shouted so much, "Oh, and Gurudev was there, and these are green potatoes, and we don't want the green potatoes, and this and that." And I thought, oh my God, they don't want green potatoes. Now at this time we cannot change. We cannot go to the shops. So it was like we were in complete anxiety. But Gurudev was completely like cool. He didn't say anything because I asked, about the potatoes, but Gurudev didn't say anything because he knows that when there's big, assemblies, there are some mistakes and sometimes you don't know things. So the next day we went and bought good potatoes, just to make, nobody complained, only one lady, but just to make that one lady happy. Because otherwise, what is the use of being with Gurudev if you're thinking that you're going to eat green potatoes? Yeah. So in this way, it was, it's like always adjusting, but always like being happy that everybody has the specific, say, the specific contents in heart in which Gurudev, they want to make Gurudev happy. You remember one time, Tungavidya, it was in Kangdang, and I wanted, Tungavidya said to me, "Oh, I made yogurt sometimes for Gurudev, that is good." And suddenly there was an inspiration in my heart. Oh, I like to make yogurt also for Gurudev, but I forgot to ask her how to do it. So she had told me boil milk and put some yogurt in it, and it will be okay. But nothing else than that. I forgot to ask her anything, and I just did it, and I just put it, aside. I just put it there on the floor somewhere in the kitchen for a whole night, and then the yogurt was seemingly okay. Gurudev came the next day, and he was so tired but so sweet. We were sitting very close to him, like knee to knee almost. It was really beautiful. And then Gurudev, everybody had made so many preparations. One had made karela, the other one had made banana, whatever. So I had made this yogurt, and Tungavidya had made so many things, and the arrangement of the rooms were done. And at that time, later on, when Gurudev came, Gurudev was not so much hungry. He wanted to sleep. He wanted to rest. And then he said, later on, I will take everything. I was thinking in my mind, it will be like old and cold and whatever. I was thinking, but really, I went home, and in the evening time, I came back. And really, Gurudev had tasted all preparations. But when it came to my preparation, then Gurudev said, "Ye kya hai?" And he made such a face, like this. What happened? I didn't know the tattva behind the yogurt. I didn't put it in the fridge. So when you put yogurt, making it and put it just there on the where the kitchen is, it becomes sour, So I didn't know that. And then Madam said later on when I came, "Oh, give Savitri this yogurt. She will like it so much." So Shashikala and her mother, they were laughing so much because I didn't know what was behind it. The Gurudev had said, "Ye kya hai?" And then at that time, when I got the yogurt, I thought, it is very sour. But I thought in my mind, I said, I will take it all because it's Gurudev has taken it. So I just took everything. And the Mother Maha said to me, "And Savitri, did you like it? This yogurt? Was it nice?" And then I felt something, some bell was ringing. And at that time, Shashikala mother family, they were laughing so much, and Mother Maharaj. At that time, Gurudev came out of his room towards the kitchen. And I said to Gurudev, "Gurudev, Mother Maharaj didn't like my yogurt." I told him, while it was Gurudev. So I told Gurudev, "Mother Maharaj doesn't like my yogurt."
And then they were laughing even more. I tell you. And then Gurudev said to me, he says, you may always cook for me. Yeah. I must say, Gurudev takes out always the best out of people. I'm not a good cook, really not, but I would, when Gurudev was coming, I would try to make some preparation for him. So that was really, really nice. Yeah. The connection, when I came for the first time in this Krishna consciousness life, it was very personal, very, very personal. And Gurudev made in this way the connection. Later on, it was more, oh, you have to study, or take your distance. Oh no, Gurudev is not available at this present point. Gurudev is sleeping, all these things. But in those times, Gurudev was always available and not sleeping or whatever. Yeah, but I had to reconcile these things because Gurudev is also tired, he also wants to do his things. And some people also have to protect him because otherwise, not only me, but 1,000 other devotees will run in and out his room, So we felt this mamata is there for Gurudev, but you have to utilize it also in the proper way. Yeah, not that you can run here and there into Gurudev without thought. Yeah, so Gurudev learned us from being small children to being a little bit more children with a little bit more teeth. Yeah. So in this way, it was yeah, it's really, really wonderful. Yeah, with Gurudev, and I must say, yes, I hope, someday we will meet again very soon and have this connection again. So I think my time is up.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'll stop here. I hope I didn't have so much to say, but anyway, I try.
No, this is very, very sweet. This is very, very sweet. And Tungvida Didi also added very nice pastime of Gurudev about that constellation. So it was really nice. And thank you so much for it. You started in 1987, your story. And you said very nice thing. Where Gurudev was, I was there somehow. I don't know how. So that is what a disciple should do. He should be there where his Guru is, anyhow. Do whatever. And you were able to do it, even though you had a job that time. And then he went to Damodar Prabhu's house. You were there also. And you traveled with him. It is very fortunate. And I can see mostly Dutch people, you, Tungvida Didi, Brajnath. You were in majority, I think. Dutch people were in majority with Gurudev. Right? Yeah, and Gurudev used to love Holland, and that was his first land in the West where he put his step on. And he always used to say, it's not Holland, it's Holy Land.
Holy Land, yes.
Yeah. He said there are so many cows, green pastures, and nice people.
Yeah. It's true. It's really true.
Yeah. So
because everywhere when you drive also, you see always the green and the cows.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he really liked Holland very much, and the devotees from Holland, like you and Tungvida Didi. So you spoke about the pastime where Gurudev stayed behind the kitchen. Yeah, he was very, very humble. He would stay anywhere. People will give him a place. He will make no fuss. And then he would had to walk through the kitchen. And then he would walk in Gamcha in the main room. So he was that personal, very, very close that time. 96, and that time he was not so many people.
Yes.
So he was very, very close. And then you also spoke about how he traveled at ripe age of 75 years. He started his Western journey. I think for most of the people, 75 years is the time when you are mostly on the bed. But Gurudev started his mission, Western mission, at 75 years of age. So you can see how strong he was at that age. And all the 75 years, he just did his sadhana, very strong sadhana. We have seen that also for some years in Mathura, without giving much attention to. He used to give a lot of Harikatha there, but he never traveled so far. But at that age, he started. And you also spoke about how it is so difficult to meet such a guru. It is actually very, very rare and difficult. There are so many people in this world, and to find a guru who is attached to Radharani's lotus feet is really, I mean, it's like finding a pin in the haystack. That's what we said, and it is like that actually.
Yeah, that is how I was looking for that.
Yeah, it is just by his mercy that we are able to come to him. Otherwise, by your own effort, it is impossible.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then you talked about your two elder sisters, how he met them, and he said, "I will show you what love is."
Yeah.
And then he hardly met her again, but he showed actually without meeting.
Yes.
So that's what a guru is, beyond time and space. Even if he doesn't meet you in front, he's still doing things from behind. Even now he's doing things for us, guiding us in our life. And then you also spoke how Gurudev sometimes gives things forcefully to you, even you don't want it. In fact, most of the time we don't even value, so we don't want. But Gurudev knows what is the value of bhakti and how it is going to help you eventually later in your life. So he gives you, like a mother will give a bitter pill to her kids, even though kids don't like to eat, but mother knows it is good for them. So Guru knows what is good for his disciples, and we will figure out, now we are figuring it out slowly, that he was doing so much good for us without our realizing it. Yeah. And you talked about the debate in Sanskrit. Yes, he was good. Gurudev's Sanskrit was so sweet. When he used to say shloks, it is like nectar coming out of his mouth.
Yeah, really, really beautiful.
Yeah. Then you talked about the qualification to go to Golok Vrindavan. It's not our sadhana, it is the mercy of Guru and Guru only, nothing else. It is only by his mercy that we can get something. By our own sadhana, we can only we can only please him. So our all sadhana is directed only to please Gurudev. And once Gurudev is happy, he can bestow you whatever. He can give you anything. And then yeah, Tungvida, they talked about the constellation. See how he knows so many things, and he said constellation is right, ask him to leave his body now. He is caring for his next birth also. He not only looks after this birth, but he is looking after. They used to say, now I have taken a contract with you, that I will take you to the Golok Vrindavan. How many births it takes does not matter. Where you go does not matter. I will bring you from there. Even if you go to Narak by your own deeds, I will pull you out by your hair and take you to Krishna. That is my promise, he said. So we have so much hope from Gurudev. Yeah, this example shows that he's planning his next birth also, and he told him to leave his body, and by the time he had already left actually. And yeah, that was also very good when you translated the book Essence of All Advice. And Gurudev said, do it again. I mean, it is surprising that he does not know Dutch, seemingly, and he immediately knows that you have not done it correctly, and he says, do it again. So straightforward. I mean, only a Mahabhagat can say like this.
Exactly.
Nobody else can say, have that, yeah, do it again. And then when you went to do it again, you found that that was no good. There were so many mistakes there.
It's terrible. Yeah.
And you also translated Sanatan Goswami book. And then you were saying that Gurudev was not on the planet. But he is always acknowledging, don't have to worry, Didi. He is always acknowledging what you're doing. And he knows what you're doing and is happy that you're doing. Even now, he is not, even though not visibly here, but he's always here. He had said, I'm closer to the air you breathe.
That's true. Yeah.
So he's with us right now around us, listening to us.
Yeah.
So he's seeing what you're doing. He's seeing we are doing these Zoom programs, and maybe he's giving us some ashirwad. He's seeing that you are translating books. He's seeing what we are doing. So we don't have to worry. If we are not able to serve him then, we can serve him now. We can serve him our entire life, and he will surely acknowledge everything, and he will know about it. It's not that he will not know. And yeah, you talked about Charnamrit, how the fly was dying, and you did not save, you let it die so that she will achieve a good birth. And Gurudev supported your thought. He said it's a matter of thinking. It's not dying or saving or not saving. It is what your thoughts are. If your thoughts are like that, it is good. Because you're not thinking about killing something. You're thinking of his good birth. So how Gurudev is able to point out these very subtle matters of thought and these things.
Yes.
Yeah, he decided that thing very nicely among two of you. And then you also said that on that ceremony where they took Diksha, that boy was not able to get any Bhiksha. And you said Gurudev is arranging everything for us, even he's arranging Bhiksha for us. He made, that's so true. because Gurudev arranged the bhiksha for him and then he could give it to Gurudev. So yeah, he does everything for his devotees. And then once Gurudev asked you, what are you doing here? This small question set you thinking, and what really I'm doing here. So this is how a disciple has to be. I think you are giving a perfect example how a disciple should take his Gurudev's Vani. He should take his Vani very seriously and try to think deep about why he said this to me. What is he meaning? What does he intend to tell me? Does he message he's giving me? Because he will never say anything lightly. He is very deep himself. So when he said, what are you doing here? Then you start thinking, yeah, what am I doing here? What is my work? What? So yeah, that's how disciples should be. And then he was so sweet. He would do so many leelas. You made a cake for him on the Father's Day. That must have been really good, I can imagine. And how Gurudev, instead of cutting it in straight pies, he started making zigzag in the cake, like a young boy playing with you. So I can see so much intimate relationship between Gurudev and you, who are making Father's Day for him. Yeah, so that was very sweet. And yeah, the confetti, you were also naughty. In Italy, you told that incidents where you made that confetti so it'll fly off when Gurudev will open that envelope. But Gurudev is 100 times smarter than all of us together. He did not open that envelope at all. He knew what is inside. See, Guru knows everything what we are trying to do. So he very smartly took the money out and left the confetti there. So that is how Gurudev, we cannot fool Gurudev. We cannot play. We can try to play, but he knows everything. Yes. And then he said to your friend that your hair looks like a dog. That was must heavy, I think. It's for, but sometimes Gurudev was very straightforward, and yeah, you got the message automatically, certainly. Like you talked about mother-in-law chastising her own daughter to give a message to the what do you call daughter-in-law. Yeah. And yeah, he would very subtly teach about the dressing sense. He will not say directly, but he will teach somehow. Yes. And he has brought all of us to that. I've seen all the Western devotees. Now you are, so many people give examples of you that look at those Western devotees, how they dress up, much better than Indians. We should not leave our culture. So you are example in Vrindavan, all the Western ladies especially, they are example for Indians. And we should follow our culture, how the Westerners are following. And why you are following? Because Gurudev has taught you like this. He has molded you, he has brought you up like that, all of us. And somehow he's got us to that position. And yes, I remember Gopinath Prabhu also, when I offer my pranams to him. He has done a lot of seva for Gurudev. And Gurudev has given so many sweet Harikathas in that Gopinath Bhavan. That was his heart. And so many parikramas have started there. And he had spoken for days together on Madhure Kadambani, I remember, in Gopinath Bhavan. And his beautiful bhajan kutir is there. So yes, Gopinath Prabhu will always be indebted to him for his beautiful seva to Srila Gurudev. He has worked really hard. And those days when he was looking for this land for this temple, I had been with him sometimes to look for and talk to Brajvasis about it. So I can remember that. And lastly, in the end, you spoke a very nice concept of one family and one thought. I think this is very important for all of us in the present time. We are one family, Gaudiya family, and we should have one thought. What is that thought? How to please Krishna and Guru. We should be driven by this thought, and rest everything should be arranged around this central thought, that how to please our Gurudev and how to please Sri Krishna. Our life, our all aspects of life should be beautifully arranged around this central thought, one family and one thought. Very nice concept, Didi, you said. And if you follow this, Gurudev had promised that I will put you into the lotus feet of Radha Krishna. So yes. And you talked about the sour yogurt. So Gurudev does not see the thing, he just sees your effort behind it and the thought behind it. And he's very happy when you try to serve him, even though you're not able to do it perfectly. but he likes when people are making small baby efforts. All the parents like when the small kids make something to please their parents, even though it is not perfect. So Gurudev also liked. And you were also you finished all of that sour yogurt yourself, taking it as a prasad of Srila Gurudev because he tasted it. So that is a really very good thought, very good thought. So Didi, thank you so much. I offer my pranams to you, and I offer my pranams to Tungvida Didi also. Thank you so much, both of you. Thank you so much. Very nice, sweet Harikatha. Radhe Radhe. Thank you. And I thank all the listeners also for listening to beautiful Harikatha. I'll announce the program for tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll have Rajendra Prabhuji and Kamla Devi, his wife. They are from Bombay, and they are very old devotees who associated with Gurudev on his first trip to Bombay. So tomorrow it will be a Hindi program, and they'll be with us at 8 o'clock. So all of you, please join at 8 o'clock. Srila Gurudev Maharaj ki jai, Sant Koti Vaishnav Vrind ki jai, Gaur Bhakt Vrind ki jai, Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Sri Savitri Didi ki jai, Srimati Tungvidya Didi ki jai, Gaur Premanande Hari Hari, सभी भक्तों की जय, जय हो जय।